The 90s saw several popular periods of music. Hair metal was on its last feet at the beginning of the decade, with grunge taking over in the early to mid 90s, and that transitioned into post grunge and pop rock and then to nu metal. Against the backdrop of rock music during the decade was hip hop and straight up pop music. It was rare that an artist who was dominant in one genre would try to reinvent themselves in another genre, but that's what happened when rapper Vanilla Ice tried to go metal, and that's what we're going to explore in today's video. Music wasn't always the first choice for a career for rapper Vanilla Ice, who was born Robert Matthew Von Winkle in Dallas, Texas in 1967. In his teenage years, he was a successful motocross racer, winning several championships, but a broken ankle at the age of 17 prematurely ended his career. He soon turned his attention to music, being a fan of hip-hop and dancing. Vanilla Ice would tell the LA Times he danced to James Brown records and lip-synced to Elvis Presley as a youngster, but he soon found his calling in hip-hop and started dancing with friends at the local malls. And he would tell the LA Times, "I remember being alone a lot as a kid because I went to so many different schools. I would always be the new Jack and everybody's eyes would be on me, so I eventually decided to give them something to look at. I'd fix my hair and wear things that made me stand out, and I got into rapping and the breakdancing and beatboxing," he'd say. He would soon adopt the stage name Vanilla MC, and it would be an appearance at a Dallas disco called City Lights that changed the rapper's life. City Lights was owned by a man named Tommy Kwan, who was managing a few acts at the time. Kwan would witness Vanilla MC at his club taking part in a talent contest and was so blown away, he signed the rapper to a contract the following day. Kwan suggested he change his name to Vanilla Ice and started to line up concerts that would see him open up for various rap acts, including Public Enemy. But much to Kwan's chagrin, he was unsuccessful in getting record labels to pay attention. A white rapper wasn't exactly on their list of sought-after acts. Still believing in his talent, Kwan forked over the money to release Vanilla Ice's debut album, Hooked, on his own independent label, and got a distribution deal through Ichiban Records. They would release a single, a cover of Wild Cherry's Play That Funky Music, with a tune called Ice Ice Baby as a B-side. The song eventually started getting airplay thanks to a DJ in Georgia who played Ice Ice Baby instead of the cover, and it spread like wildfire from there. Kwan soon spent $8,000 to record a video for the track Ice Ice Baby, only increasing the rapper's popularity. SBK Records took notice and signed Vanilla Ice. They would re-release Hooked with a new name to the extreme, and he soon started opening up for the likes of MC Hammer. It was that tour that saw tension between the rappers, with Vanilla Ice knocking MC Hammer from the #1 spot on the Billboard charts. Kwan would tell the LA Times about the feud with MC Hammer, saying, "By the end, we were selling as many t-shirts as Hammer at the shows, and I think that bothered them. They didn't want to acknowledge what was happening," he'd say. Ice Ice Baby would go on to become the first #1 hip-hop single in history to top the Billboard Hot 100 charts, and to the extreme became a global phenomenon, selling over 15 million copies worldwide and spending a whopping 4 months at the #1 spot on the Billboard album charts. Vanilla Ice soon got his own movie called Cool as Ice and provided the lead single for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 movie, and even dated Madonna. Add to that endorsement deals for Nike and Pepsi, and things seemed to be going his way. But despite his newfound success, there was a growing backlash against the rapper. A lot of critics and musicians criticized Vanilla Ice for cultural appropriation. In addition to that, Ice Ice Baby soon drew the attention of rock band Queen, who claimed the rapper stole the bass line from their hit song Under Pressure without asking for permission or fairly compensating the rock band. Remember this great quote from him?
"We sampled them from him, but it's not the same bass line. Like it goes ding 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 diggy ding ding, ding 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 diggy ding ding, ding ding ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding 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 diggy ding ding, ding 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 diggy ding."
I've done a whole story on this feud between the rapper and Queen, the link is down below. In addition to that, it came to light that the rapper's record label fabricated details of his childhood, claiming he grew up on the rough streets of Miami and raced for Honda, when in fact he grew up in the suburbs of Dallas and had a middle-class upbringing, and Honda had never heard of him before. The label wanted to give the rapper more street cred. For the next several years, Vanilla Ice would tour relentlessly, and by 1993 he needed a break. He became a vegetarian, a Rastafarian, rode motocross once again, and recorded his follow-up album Mind Blowin', which came out in 1994. But his 15 minutes of fame seemed to have faded, as his follow-up record only moved a measly 42,000 copies and failed to chart. The rapper looked back, expressing regret over taking every opportunity that was offered to him, telling the LA Times in 1998, "My first record made me millions of dollars and I didn't spend it either. I had a boat in my backyard, a $600,000 car, all that stuff. Now I'm set for life, which enables me to do what I want. The first time around I played a puppet role for the record label. I was 19 years old and doing a full-on hip-hop thing, playing for black audiences, opening for Ice-T. The record label told me they wanted me to take it to the pop market, and at first I refused, but at that time I was barely surviving. I was 3 payments behind on my car, and they handed me a check for 1.5 with my name already on it, and I said, 'What do you want me to do?' So I did. Then it was all about the money. I was like Jerry Maguire, 'Show me the money,' he'd say." Following the failure of a second record, Vanilla Ice went into a deep depression and turned to drugs to cope. But like a lot of people down on their luck, he soon found religion. He would tell MTV in 1998, "God has blessed me in more ways than one. I found God when I found myself on the floor with friends dumping cold water on me. I overdosed one night and woke up the next day and found God." By the mid-90s, the rapper was picking up the pieces of his life and started getting into real estate, investing, racing jet skis, and getting back into motocross, and for a short period of time had a grunge outfit named Pick and Scabs. The rapper found a new home with Republic Records, and it would be the label's head, Monty Lipman, who told the rapper about a producer named Ross Robinson. Vanilla Ice would tell the Iowa State Daily in 1998, "I wanted to express myself in a very intense way, and there was no way that was going to happen with a drum machine. Basically, I'm bored with the drum machines and samples and stuff. With a band, they can build energy around me." The rapper would invite the prospective producer to his home, going on to say, "Ross walks in and sees my motocross trophy, and he's a motocross racer himself. We were clicking right off the bat. We had something in common. He was like, 'Yeah, man, I'd really love to do your record.' I flew to LA right away, and within a month and a half, we had the album finished and completed." Robinson at the time was one of the hottest producers in rock and roll, working with a variety of nu metal acts, including Korn. But it was a risky move for the producer, who told the New York Times, "People kept saying to me, 'It might hurt your name, it might hurt your reputation,' and I said, 'I'm doing it then. It's the most punk rock thing you could do.'" Robinson was known for taking people's hardships and pain and turning it into music, something the producer thought he could do with the rapper. For Vanilla Ice, it was difficult to dig deep and open up about his demons, recalling to CNN, "It wasn't intended to be so dark. I opened up to Ross and I told him a lot of things that happened to me in the past. It was like really deep conversation, and he was like, 'You should write about that.' And I was like, 'Dude, I didn't want people to judge me for that,' but he was right. The record was like total therapy. I had to tap into these moments into my life. I'm free now," he'd say. Once news broke that Robinson would be working with Vanilla Ice on a nu metal style album, many were left scratching their heads. There were rumors that members of Korn and even Lenny Kravitz, who was the godfather to Vanilla Ice's daughter, would appear on the album, but both rumors turned out to be false, even with Korn's management issuing a statement claiming the rumors were not true. Instead, Jimmy Pop of the Bloodhound Gang would show up on the record. Robinson would assemble a backing band that was made up of drummer Shannon Larkin and guitarist Sonny Mayo, and Limp Bizkit guitarist Wes Borland's brother Scott of Big Dumb Face fame on keyboards, and future Puddle of Mudd bassist Doug Ardito. Larkin would claim to Modern Drummer magazine in 2006 that he was, and I quote, "proud of that one. Producer Ross Robinson is very demanding when it comes to drums in the studio. Everything had to be 110% for that guy, and I love him for that," he'd say. Ahead of the album being released, Vanilla Ice was touring across the United States and was met with a lot of success. He started out slow, doing 1 to 2 shows a week, eventually working up to 3 to 4 gigs a week, playing sold-out theaters in places like Omaha, Nebraska and Denton, Texas. Josh Hunt of Avalanche Productions, who promoted the tour across the Midwest, would tell MTV, "We just stumbled into it and it just felt right. The guy sold, 7 million records? All the shows have been sold out and people are definitely interested." MTV would also interview a woman who was the head of Vanilla Ice's fan club, who took issue with the rapper being labeled as a one-hit wonder, pointing to the success of his second album overseas. So what type of people were showing up to Vanilla Ice's concerts in 1998? Well, he would tell the LA Times, "Not the crowd I played before. A lot of young girls still come out to the shows, but they probably wish I made another pop record because this may be a little too hard for them. Now my crowd is the body piercing and tattoo crowd. A lot of people are buying the new record and showing up to the shows, and it's good to see so many people enjoying the music," he'd say. By early 1998, Vanilla Ice would tell Rolling Stone Online that his upcoming album would be, and I quote, "a high-energy hip-hop effort." Months later, his label would refer to it as, and I quote, "aggressive rock." And the run-up to the album's release, there was a lot of news reports claiming that the album would blend the styles of Vanilla Ice's rapping and nu metal act Korn. The album, titled Hard to Swallow, would come out on October 20th, 1998. To promote the album, Republic Records told MTV News that they believe in the, and I quote, John Travolta theory in resurrecting Ice's stalled career. Travolta's equally floundering reputation was revived by director Quentin Tarantino's mid-90s film Pulp Fiction. But the theory didn't seem to work out this time, as Hard to Swallow was a commercial flop, not charting in any countries. The album received stinging reviews from Rolling Stone, stating that, and I quote, nothing can redeem Ice's whack boasting, while New Times Magazine called it, and I quote, stupid, exploitative, derivative rap metal by the man who once did nearly irreparable damage to hip-hop. Since its release, the album has made many worst of lists. Shortly after the album's release, Vanilla Ice would lose his recording contract, and he wouldn't release his follow-up record until 3 years later, 2001's Bipolar, which happened to feature a voice message from producer Ross Robinson on the track Crash and Burn. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories.